reaction to what was released this week?
The Russia collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison, there's no parallel to anything else. It was a coup. And I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, a coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government and the criminal elements of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law. One egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law. Because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability so that we can reclaim this democracy, Maria.
Welcome into Courageous Media. Thanks so much for joining me here. We have got more breaking news. Check out a couple of our videos from the last couple of days where we talk about Pam Bondi ordering the investigation, Pam Bondi essentially taking the steps to enable the empanelment of a grand jury without actually getting there over the last 48 hours. We have got breaking news now. We predicted it. We talked about it when Pam Bondi first issued her order, signed the order allowing for an unnamed prosecutor to begin investigating the Russia collusion. We said this is going to get taken outside of the DC swamp. And we have great news. Before we get into that, thanks so much, everybody, for rolling up here at Courageous Media. Appreciate you being here. All right, let's dive into this story because it is absolutely fantastic news. This shows again that the Trump administration is outthinking the Democrats. They're not taking the same old uniparty playbook. They are going off script. They are no longer beholden to the globalist cabal of corruptocrats and the Republican establishment, which was nothing more than controlled opposition for money. This is absolutely great news. Check this out about the official empanelment of the grand jury. And here we go. Check this out.
The Steel Dossier, which has been largely debunked, the one funded by the Clinton campaign. These documents indicate that Brennan may have personally intervened to guarantee that the dossier was part of this infamous assessment that occurred at the very end of the Obama administration. Now, Obama himself is likely in the clear because he has immunity due to the recent Supreme Court decision. He can thank Donald Trump for that. But the rest of them are exposed, and there's a very long list.
Including Hillary Clinton?
It can be Clinton. Now, the key to remember here is that even if the statute of limitations has run, these people are likely to be questioned again. So they can be subject to the trifecta of the most common charges, the ones the prosecutors love the most, which are things like obstruction, false statements to federal investigators, and perjury. The Obama administration used those quite widely. So did the special counsel. Those are likely to appear again now. So even if the statute of limitations has run, it won't run on new statements. It'll just start again. And if there is a conspiracy, as has been suggested by the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, that conspiracy may have elongated that statute of limitations.
Okay, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, perjury. These are all potential charges for potentially defendants who could include Brennan, Clapper, Clinton, among others, which will all be revealed in due time should it come out of a grand jury. Professor Turley, thank you so much for being with us.
So I love Jonathan Turley's very astute at this. Now, I love what he had to say. I think I want to jump back because there's a point in this clip that I think is just absolutely hilarious. Check this out.
Well, Will, it's a very good question. I don't think this is an excuse for cynicism, but I do believe it's a reason for continued skepticism. But there is still hope here. This is the first necessary step to finding out about the real Russian conspiracy. There never was a Russian collusion conspiracy. That was hatched by the Clinton campaign. They secretly funded the Steel Dossier. They denied that to the media, and they laid out this very successful political hit job using the media, using the government. It's amazing how much the public still doesn't know. But in the last few weeks, this administration has given us information that we haven't seen before. I've been following this, writing about it for years. Some of this is new stuff, and it's startling.
Okay, so it's a hopeful first step in what would be a long road to accountability. Let's ask some of the legal questions now. As I understand it, Professor, the grand jury could come back if they find sufficient evidence and probable cause with an indictment against as of yet unnamed individuals. Let's start with the charges. And you've been following this story for, well, about a decade. So what does the evidence point to? Like, what could be the charges coming out of a grand jury?
Well, Will, I think today about half the lawyers in the city went on retainer. About 40 minutes ago, you just lost about 50% of the bar in terms of client base. The reason is that there are a lot of people, a lot of powerful people in this town that have already been mentioned in some of these releases.
I love that he said that. Half the lawyers have gone on retainer. He went on to say in a different interview that half the lawyers in D.C. have gone on retainer, have been put on retainer by the other half of the lawyers, which is just beautiful. All right, so we've got Pam Bondi. He set up the entire conspiracy situation. The ammunition that Pam Bondi has at her disposal in this investigation, if she finds the right investigators, if she gets the lower level people to roll over on the upper level people, you have got such a vast conspiracy over this thing. It starts, not timeline wise, but in terms of power, it starts at the top with Obama. Now, Obama may be able to claim a lot of presidential immunity. However, there are some official acts that immunity doesn't work for when you are knowingly breaking the law. Plus, there's a whole bunch of acts that might have occurred after he left office, while Trump was in office, while Biden was in office, that he would not have presidential immunity for. So you've got Obama, you've got Hillary, you've got Brennan, Clapper, Comey, McCabe, you've got other FBI agents, Strzok, Page, you've got Schiff, you've got the entire media establishment, you've got a whole laundry list of people, aides, attendants, consultants, lawyers. That's why he said half the lawyers are now under retainer by the other half. So you've got a huge, vast conspiracy that began pre-2016 election, but has continued all the way through the Trump presidency. It continued with another crime in the raid on Mar-a-Lago. It's another precipitory crime that they could absolutely use. It goes all the way to the lawfare against Trump with Jack Smith and others. So you've got a vast conspiracy that completely trumps statute of limitations. Now you've got multiple charges against multiple individuals. You get one charge to stick against any of those individuals, they are now stuck in the conspiracy itself, in the RICO. So you're going to get the potential for serious jail time here. And what everybody figured, I think what the Democrats figured was their last defense would be, okay, well, they'll have to try this in D.C., and yeah, the DC swamp will never, ever convict Obama and probably wouldn't convict anybody. But with the Mar-a-Lago raid as one of the predicate crimes, now you've got great news coming out of the DOJ. Check this out from Nick Sortar.
And we told you that. This is a major development. We told you last week that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, had given permission for a strike force to begin. That's a very specific tool the Justice Department uses on major conspiracies. And we told you then we would know it was getting serious when the grand jury jumped into action. We now know that a grand jury will be impaneled. Most likely, my sources are telling me, it could be in Florida, where the raid of President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home helped. And so that is the very latest. You can check it out at Just News. We're going to have a whole lot more on that over the course.
So there have been other people reporting that this is confirmed now, that the grand jury has been impaneled in the Southern District of Florida. So now any case heard will be heard not by DC swamp rats, but by regular Americans like you and me. Democrats, Republicans, independents, all of the above. It will be a regular jury, and that jury could absolutely vote to convict. And the jury coming out of Florida is going to be far more MAGA than any other jury, probably in the United States and certainly in DC. So now there is serious concern. You've got serious worry among the co-conspirators, among the players, and even among the media. We're going to dive in because the media absolutely is going ape over this. They are panicking, and it is great to see. Why not Obama? Absolutely. Obama is implicated. However, remember that Obama enjoys the same presidential immunity protection that SCOTUS gave Trump. So for official acts while he was president, it's going to be a very high bar to get him convicted. You would have to prove that he knowingly knew it was illegal, that there was malice. There's all sorts of things in order to pierce the veil of presidential immunity. So probably Obama's ordering a new ICA on December 9th while he was still president is probably not going to be enough to overcome immunity to implicate him. However, if you can get him, if you can get other people at the lower levels of this thing to roll on Obama for actions that he took post leaving office, now you've got a completely different story. Now you've got Obama on stuff that is not protected by immunity. And that's going to be the option that you've got to get Obama. We've got awesome news. Now we know that this thing has been impaneled in Florida. Now check this out. This is the media panicking. This is beautiful stuff right here from Cat Turd. Shout out to Cat Turd on X. Check this out.
This is extraordinarily stupid. It's extraordinarily stupid on so many counts. If you look at the timeline doesn't add up. It's like when Donald Trump is saying that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton created the Epstein files. No. That all happened during Donald Trump's first term. You look at the timeline here about what happened and when it happened. Barack Obama had nothing to do with this by anybody's accounts, and especially by the Senate Republican Intelligence Committee run by Marco Rubio, who afterwards said that it was Donald Trump's 2016 campaign that created a, quote, grave counterintelligence threat to the United States of America. That was Marco Rubio, the current Secretary of State. That was every Republican on the Senate Intel Committee. After pouring through all of the documents, that's what they found. And when poor John Durham was made to sacrifice his professional career to go around the world investigating the investigators, he found nothing and ended up making a fool of himself. I mean, we even found out that the two documents that supposedly, fed into the Clinton conspiracy, that she was the one pushing this, actually was Russian disinformation. So, again, they know.
Scarborough's a complete tool. What a clown show. They are panicking over at MSNBC. They are panicking that Pam Bondi and the Trump administration are actually following through on their promises, and they are coming for the treason, the traitors. They are coming for the conspirators in the Russia collusion hoax. They are coming for the people who absolutely and actually assaulted our democracy. And he's going to make anything up that he's got to, because Scarborough is knee deep in this thing. He knew none of this was real. He knew there was no Russian collusion. He is now possibly implicated because they're going after conspiracy and not just the overt acts. Now they can actually wrap up media pundits in this thing if they can prove that they knew that they were told beforehand or they knew that it was a hoax and they reported it anyway. They are now part of the conspiracy. That's how wide they can cast this net. This is absolutely fantastic stuff by Bondi. I am so happy to see that there's been a grand jury impaneled and that they're going to start issuing. I want to see when they start issuing subpoenas. This is going to be great stuff. In the meantime, you've got Congress now issuing subpoenas on Epstein stuff to Bill and Hillary Clinton. There is going to be a day of accountability because they effed around, and I think there is a real chance. I'm not going to make any predictions. There is a real chance that they absolutely find out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Really appreciate everybody being here so far. Please smash that like button, turn on the notifications if you haven't. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you like the content, please share Courageous Media with everybody that you know.